Oh, hello there, and thanks for joining Uncomplicated Math today. Today we're going to be looking at how to find the least common multiple. And by the end of this video, you'll know the steps involved in finding the least common multiple of two numbers. So let's jump right in. So in question number 1, we're being asked to find the least common multiple, or the LCM, of 4 and 5. So looking at the steps involved here on the right-hand side, we can see that the first step is to list several multiples for each number. So let's go ahead and start out by listing the multiples of 4. We have 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, and 24. Now let's do the same thing for our multiples of 5. We have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30. So now that we've listed several multiples for each number, we're going to move on to step number 2, which is to compare the multiples and circle the LCM, or the least common multiple. And we can see when we compare these lists that 20 is the lowest number that they have in common, so then our least common multiple for 4 and 5 is 20. So now let's move on to question number 2, where we're being asked to find the least common multiple for 6 and 4. So we'll remember that our first step is to list several multiples for each number. So let's list the multiples of 6. We have 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, and 36. So now let's do the same thing for our multiples of 4. We have 4, 8, 12, well, and we're actually going to stop there because I'm sure that you can see the same thing that I'm seeing, which is we already see a common multiple between 6 and 4, and it's 12. So what we're actually going to do here is we're going to circle 12 for both the list of multiples of 4 and 6, because there's no point in listing any further multiples of 4 because we've already found the least common multiple. So for question number 2, the least common multiple for 6 and 4 is 12. So now let's move on to question number 3, where we're being asked to find the least common multiple for 6 and 24. So we'll remember that our first step is to list several multiples for each number. So let's go ahead and list some of the multiples of 6. We have 6, 12, 18, and 24. And just like we did with question number 2 here, we're actually going to stop here and circle the 24. Because if we were to start to list the multiples of 24, the very first multiple that we're going to list is 24. So we've already found the least common multiple, so we don't actually have to list any more multiples. So for question number 3, the least common multiple for 6 and 24 is 24. So now let's move on to question number 4, where we're being asked to find the least common multiple of 3 and 7. Remembering our steps involved, the first step is to list several multiples for each number, so we'll list the multiples of 3. We have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, and 24. So now let's do the same thing for our multiples of 7. We have 7, 14, 21. Oh, and just like we did in question number 2 and 3, we've already found a common multiple, so we don't need to go any further because 21 is a multiple of both 3 and 7, and it just happens to also be our least common multiple. So for question number 4, our least common multiple for 3 and 7 is 21. So hopefully by now you understand how to find the least common multiple of two numbers. Help make math less complicated by smashing those like and subscribe buttons. As always, enjoy today's math journey.